Testing. Alright, there we go. Hi. Yes, we like this go live and then announce order of operations. Much more pleasing. No background music. Okay. Okay. One sec. Hello. Yeah, no, I was trying to navigate the computer machine and it didn't really want to load the page to let me do the alert thing. So I figured not having the tunes going would probably be a better, just as a general start thing. Is the computer fan, like, is the mic picking up the computer fan? Because it's kind of loud to me, but looking at the sound readout, it doesn't look like it's showing up, so just let me know if that's a thing. There we go. Anyway, yeah, so there's that. We have finished. No audio annoyance. Yay. Awesome. We have finished the book. Like, I want to say I wasn't, like, completely thrown by the whole, like, reveal of who our resident assassin was, but, kind of a little bit, sort of, but, like, in retrospect, it totally makes sense, so, yeah. Seriously. Yay for finishing the book. Yes. Yeah, no, this that was a good one though. That was a good one. I don't know. Will you read the other books in this series? I don't know about the one before this. Just 'cause kids and murder is kind of a thing. For if there's anything after this, I am intrigued. So, we'll see. We'll see. As to the ratings and stuff, though, like, admittedly, part of the issue that I've had with videos and updating the blog and stuff is there's certain parts that it's hard to rate for things. Like, it was cool. There was a lot of interesting stuff. But then, like, what's the difference between a 4 and a 5? And because, like, right now I'm thinking like 4, 4.5. So I don't know. The fourth recently came out. Franklin's daughter completed after her mother's death. Oh, cool. That is cool. Good to know. Good to know. Yeah. Yeah. Alright. No, I'm game. 'Cause, like, we've got someone who's using botanical means because she's a doctor in the early medieval period. 4 stars is still pretty shiny. Yeah. Alright. Yeah. We're going with like 4-ish. 4.5. We've got like murder mystery elements in here. And I realize that because it's been around for the last century, the Sherlock sort of characterizations have influenced a lot of like mystery, and there's been so many iterations of it that's what I grew up with. So that's my like initial go-to for stuff. But yeah, there's certain elements in there where like either in retrospect or just the discussion between which chapter would have been in, like 12, I think it was 12. The discussion between Jacques and Adelia, it feels like one of the scenes straight out of the BBC Sherlock between Sherlock and Moriarty. Which is cool, but like also interesting. At which point, if we're going with the Sherlock and associated cast, bunch of characters, like kind of a combo of Allie and Sir would be Watson. Sort of. I think this was pre-BBC Sherlock. Yeah, no, totally. I totally get that. But like, there's been so many iterations of like the Sherlock canon or whatever, and that happens to be one of them. So like, it's a different cast of characters, but like the same kind of archetypes, which I realize exist outside of that. That's just frame of reference. But some of the elements in this are also kind of shared with how they decided to go with the thing. Yeah. It's like, okay. Like, you're a jerk. But also, I don't know. One of those, like, I don't want to like your character, but I kind of do. And, like, this right here, kind of not on, but, like, also, yes. So there's that. It's like, I have my Gaelic bishop good service lady, yes. Yeah. The audiobook mispronounced the name Jake, so it took a minute to figure out who you meant. Yeah, no, totally. How... Evidently, my dad is walking through the house with the radio on. Uh, okay, where... Just so that I know... 12, okay. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, it's always interesting how different pronunciations work with the audio. J-A-C. Yeah. So I've always seen that pronounced as either Jacques or Jacques, depending on who it is. So. At that point, my main frame of reference is Jacques Cousteau. So. We're sure the pronunciation depended on whether you're English or French. Exactly. Exactly. Which is interesting because it's Norman. What was it? Norman French. That's the common tongue in here. Yeah, you're clearly in Eleanor's course. Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, I don't know. It like the twists and stuff in here, right? Like, and I do like that it's not like an omnipotent narrator sort of thing, or that we're following one of the characters, so therefore we know everything that they know. It's just we're following one of the characters, and we only see part of what they're doing, or we see the interactions, or the like certain particular elements of interactions with other characters. So it's not like, well, obviously it was this person because, like, all of the things are right here. It's just, right. So, ha! I know it's you, but I can't say anything because, like, you kind of might kill me otherwise. So I'll just spin this thing over here and, right, now I'm stuck on a boat with an assassin. That's great! Hi, yeah, no, I know who you are, obviously. Huh. Which, yeah, totally. And then there's like historical bits in here, talking about like St. Stephen's Day and how it's the realm of the what was it? Ah, what is it? The realm of like the servants and the common folk and whatnot and things and yeah. And that's one of the things that goes back like hundreds of years in every mention that I've seen, really. Where it's like in most areas, the peasants, the servants, weren't treated all that well, so therefore periodic festival days were granted to kind of shore up morale, and it's kind of the same thing for St. Stephen's Day. Okay. I will distract you with a murder I know you didn't commit, so you won't kill my baby while we're trapped in here further. Exactly. Exactly. Like, so, help me solve a murder that you don't care about, because I know you didn't do it. To distract you from the one that I know that you did do, so that I can figure out why. What's up with the wren catching? That one I'm not entirely sure of, actually. I know that the wren was a symbol of I want to say the wren was a symbol of the Winter King. Let's see. Let's see what the phone says. Huh, okay. Alright, let's see what we got here. Come on. Open, dang it. Alright. Yeah. The wren, the king of all birds. The wren tradition is known to take place in Ireland and England, where in previous times wren boys would hunt a wren, kill it, and visit homes reciting a poem that asked for money to give the bird a proper burial. That's dark. Jesus. Yes, still celebrate to this day. We shall kill this bird that is known as the king of all birds, and then take it door to door asking for money so that we can bury it. What? A feather from the wren might be offered to the patrons for good luck. The frick is this? Jesus. Dude, man. Come on. Growing up, we used to participate in a tradition called the Visitation of the Wren. We never ever called it that. That's a very official title. We always just referred to it as going around with the wren, or doing the wren. Okay. It was a Christmas visitation we always took part on, December 26th, which everyone nowadays calls Boxing Day, but we always called it St. Stephen's Day. Basically, the idea would be that you'd go around on St. Stephen's Day as a group of boys. I did it when I was about 10 years old until about 14. We weren't doing it necessarily to preserve any cultural tradition. We were entrepreneurial. We were kids, and this was the era of 20-cent comic books. So for us, it was this opportunity to go around and visit some people and entertain them a bit. Yeah, so now it's Now it's made of like paper and sticks and whatever else. Yeah, so here it's an effigy of a wren, drawn on paper, carved from wood, and attached to a stick. The wren sticks would often take a beating in harsh winter weather, and so a new one would be made every year. Okay. What? The tradition consists of hunting a wren, now a fake wren but previously a real one, and putting it on top of a decorated pole. Then the crowds of mummers or straw boys celebrate the wren, also pronounced Ron, by dressing up in masks, straw suits, and colorful motley clothing. They form music bands and parade through towns and villages. These crowds were sometimes called the Wren Boys. According to the Regency romance The Christmas Rose by Lauren Willig, things like the wren hunt were a way to get the drunk off their asses men out of the way for a while. I mean, I would not be surprised. Okay, yeah. One of the potential origins is that it'd be connected to a midwinter sacrifice, because the wren was associated with the Winter King, and because it's midwinter, you're killing the King of Winter, so therefore the spring is going to come. Yeah. Ah! Oh. Oh yeah, and because it's Christianity versus the world. You take the king of birds, the noble wren that can exist in winter or summer, and just kind of hides in a tree and stuff. And in the Christian theory, the origin is that God wanted to see who the king of all birds was, so had everyone fly for a long time, and then all of them dropped off except the great eagle, who was getting tired. And then the wren saw that the eagle was getting tired and went higher, because the treacherous wren had been conserving strength. Yes, of course. Totally that one. Not at all, the bird just, flies better. Not at all. Honestly, people. Jeez. Okay. In the novel, the men are supposed to shoot a particular tree on the property for unknown reasons. I mean, that would get people off doing a thing away from, whoever else is there, honestly. Ah, yeah. So yeah, I don't get the whole like smearing soot all over their faces though. That unless it's supposed to be camouflage, but they're like running around just being obnoxious in the forest, half wasted. So it's not like they're trying to be subtle about anything. Like I don't what? Hey Eel, how are you doing? Welcome in. Welcome in. Alright. So uh yeah. Doing well. How are you? Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. We're finishing the book at current point, present, whatever. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. I don't know. Having soup and a book discussed, so pretty good. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what's being made right now, but it smells like it's soup. I don't know. We'll see. Alright. So. Soup is unlovable. It is. It is. Oh, alright. So. So. We've got. We've got this. Um. At the end of 9, we've we found out definitively that Emma had been wanting to run off and elope with Talbot, who, you know, was the dude that got killed on a bridge back in, like, chapter, what, like, 6? Whatever it was? No. Like, 3, probably. 2, whatever. Sustenance School of Crisis Management alum. Yeah. Begatha is 1 too. Dudes are always getting dudes are always getting murdered for the sake of young lovers. Basically, yeah. Yeah, probably. Yeah, there seems to be this thing of like this one is mine. No, but like I won, so therefore they're mine now. So therefore you die. Like, what? What? One sec. Ah, there it is. Brain was going a little bit ahead of whatever, so yeah. Okay, one sec. Stop it. A little bit on the confused. A little bit. Brain's been confused and poo-poo all day. Yeah, no, I well familiar with that. Well familiar with that. Yeah. Well, hopefully stuff is getting better on that front, Eel. Ow, ow. But yeah, honeycomb, a little bit of a confuse. How we tend to handle crises, supplying food and tea is first crucial step. Ah, yeah, no, totally. Yes, yes. And I see what you mean with Giffa. Totally. Agreed. You're having a time of it, here, have snacks. Yes. Totally. Totally agreed on that one. Alright. Sounds like my aunt when an old lady moves. I mean, accurate though. You said eat this. Yeah. Like, it's fine. Tea fixes everything. Yeah, no, yeah. Agreed. Agreed. Hugs for Eel. Yeah. Proud old lady. Okay, one sec. Gotta blow my nose. Alright. Yes, tea. Tea for everyone. Indeed. Indeed. So, right. Become a member of the club too. Some food genuinely can turn a frown upside down. Exactly. Like, right. Okay. Even if it's just something to pull you out of your own head and focus on for a little bit, because it's a different texture or a different temperature or something, like, it can be grounding enough that it really helps. And then sometimes if you're really not feeling good, having a bit of sustenance or something to drink or whatever, like, kind of helps with that. So, yeah, it good stuff. Yeah. Good times. Good times indeed. Good times indeed. Especially if it's like a comfort food thing. Hadn't thought about the grounding aspect. Yeah. Yeah, no, like one of the things, cause like doing ritual and stuff, uh of any kind, depending on what it is and how kind of meditative it is, how like you go, like I tend to dissociate anyway. but, but if you're kind of in the meditative, like liminal sort of state, it's like having something to eat or drink has kind of a grounding effect, similar, at least in my own experience, as the what, I forget what the official term is, but like the 5-point thing, like that you see, hear, feel, experience, whatnot, and it helps. Cheesecake's my number one foods for that. Lactose intolerant, but still wants a cheesecake. Cooking something you know how to make from scratch is really nice. Yeah, totally. Baking. Yeah. Baking with gluten-free flour is interesting. I'll say that. It doesn't, like, the gluten-free flour and the non-dairy milk doesn't always do what you want it to do. But when it works, it's great. And then you can eat it, and it's, it's multi-pronged therapy stuff. Because then you've made the thing, so you feel that you've successfully done a thing, and you know that you know how the recipe works. So you feel like another good vibes thing from that. And then you can eat it afterwards. Yeah. Kind of like, I know this pattern. I can make this pattern in my sleep. It's fine. And then you make the thing, and you can give it snuggles. And if you do it all by hand, then you get the exercise benefits too. Exactly. And if you're like stressed and whatever, and you know, want to punch something, and you're making bread, that's a thing that you can do. Also, I imagine if you're using a meat tenderizer, that would work too, presumably. Not so much for baking, maybe, unless it's like bacon that you're doing something with, but like pounding a steak or whatnot. It's not really it's not really my purview as, the vegetarian dude, but it's a thing. I realize. Yeah. Want to open a bakery in Germany one day? That would be awesome. Ew. Seriously. That would be awesome. Has to fight the urge to make cake tonight. Oh, yeah. Like, honestly, meat tenderizers make great Thor hammers. I would imagine so. I would imagine so, yes. Yeah, yeah. Totally. Totally. I just know that I've seen them, but I think we still have one. I think we still have a, a tenderizer hammer somewhere. Maybe. But at this point, the only thing I would be using it for is, like, to do an interesting pattern in clay or something. Yeah. I like to run something. I like to run, like, something where I sell plants and food pastries. Ooh, that would be cool. That would be cool. Halloween costume. Exactly. Yeah, I know. I have this, like I have no idea where it would go, though. That's the thing. Like, no idea where it wants to be, but I have this idea for, like, some kind of cafe place that has a garden in the back and stuff, and craft things, like, in the cafe proper that people can get. So yeah, we'll see if that ever happens. Add tea books and crafts, and you have a Rin's Dream Shop. Exactly, exactly. That I forget sometimes that I've actually talked about this with people. uh, Ultimate cottagecore lifestyle, exactly. With, ideally, like, a little apartment above the shop, or something nearby or whatever. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Ah, fun times, fun times, indeed. Huh. The vibrations behind. Huh. Yeah. Yeah. Good times. Oi. Okay. One sec. I seem to have acquired a thing in my elbow. That appears to have been a rogue eyelash. Yes. Alright. Can I see it once again? Yes. Anyway. So. Uh, uh, hmm. Have at it. Have at it. Let it go. It's fine. Alright. Wait, what? Okay. Okay. Alright. Like. uh. Okay, holly and ivy. Ivy and bay. Why would. Why would ivy and bay. Alright. Yeah. Why would ivy and bay be the combination for the crown? Okay. Yeah, no, I would pull up. Okay. I would just pull it up on the computer and stuff, but being that okay. Apparently, the Getty put out a blog on the ancient origins of the flower crown. So that's something to explore. It open, dang it. Come on. There we go. Okay. So we'll explore that later. Because the laurel, the bay makes sense because it's the laurel is a symbol of like success and like memorial actually. Okay. Alright. One sec. I need to shift a second here. Because apparently my knee is just deciding it does not want to cooperate today. So we'll move that. Move this. Do that over there. And yes. Okay. And now we're good. Alright. Oh, yeah. Okay. That would be why. Alright. Because the question was, because a lot of times you see laurel wreaths on memorials, because the usual association with the laurel or bay is that it's a symbol of martial victory, but it's also just like victory in whatever capacity. So we've got, what was it? The symbol of the laurel wreath traces back to ancient Greece. In Greek mythology, the god Apollo, who's the patron of lyrical poetry, musical performance, and skill-based athletics, is conventionally depicted wearing a laurel wreath on his head in all three roles. Wreaths were awarded to victors in athletic competitions, including the Olympics. For victors in athletics, they were made of wild olive tree known as kotinos, and the same for winners of musical and poetic competitions. In Rome, they were symbols of martial victory, crowning a successful commander during his triumph, whereas ancient laurel wreaths are most often depicted as a horseshoe shape. Modern versions are usually complete rings. So the ancient, yeah, laurel, bay, laurel. It's the same thing. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, like, if you're going, like, if you have something that needs laurel leaves or what have you, because you happen to be doing a magical thing or whatnot, just putting that out there, or uh, writers or whatever or whatnot, you can go to like Smart and Final and get a big old jug of bay leaves, and it's the same thing. I know this. I have one. I use it. I use it with stuff sometimes. So there's that. Yeah, same plant. But yeah, the laurel wreath was just like it's usually depicted as two sprigs coming around the front and being tied in the back, presumably with like, I don't know, pins or being woven in or something. I don't know. I thought ivy wreaths were for poets or writers. Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell told us so. Sounded legit. We used to have a bay tree. Fresh bay leaves are lovely. Yeah, they are. The laurel wreath refers to a crown victory. The expression resting on one's laurels refers to someone relying entirely on long past successes for continued fame or recognition. So yeah, okay. What's it used for in heraldry? That's just describing that it's there. So let's see. We've got the bay. Now I just have a whole lot of stuff that's like, how to make an ivy crown, where to buy an ivy crown. No, like, what does it mean? What is the significance? Come on. Alright, ivy was often presented to the bride and groom as a symbol of fidelity and loyalty. Come on. And I'll try and pop these in the thing. Come on, man. Ay. Thing annoying. Ay. Come on. What are you doing? There we go. It's often presented to the bride and groom as a symbol of everlasting life, devotion, fidelity, and loyalty. The Greeks also used it to make a crown for Liber, the god of fertility, as well as poets and other muses. Yeah, so we have this, okay, there we go. And also it's said to prevent one from getting drunk. Which is why Bacchus is usually depicted as wearing a crown of ivy leaves. Okay. But yeah. So, a symbol of fidelity in marriage. So, we've got Eleanor, who is being presented with a crown symbolizing martial victory, fidelity, and fertility. At the Yule celebrations, where the Winter King dies. There's a I've usually only heard it in conjunction with the summer solstice, with the battle between the holly and no, not the holly. Holly king? Yeah, it would be the holly. The holly and the oak kings, because oak is summer and holly is winter. But yeah, at that point, at each of the solstices, it's the longest point of daylight, the longest point of summer, and the longest point of night, or the longest point of winter. And at that point, like after that point, then the days or nights, whichever part of the year you're in, start getting longer because the other one is coming back, because the rival has been killed with the turning of the seasons. So, could have something to do with that. I don't know. But yeah. Was just gonna say, Dionysus wears ivy leaves, so we call PS on that. I mean, you could could make the argument that because the guy wears ivy leaves on his head, he's okay to, just continuously drink all the time and carouse and do whatever because he's obviously not drunk. Because, he's got ivy on his head. So therefore, it prevents him from getting completely wasted. Logic, yes. Exactly. So, yeah. So we've got that, and we've got Eleanor is kind of literally a winter queen who falsely anticipates victory. Exactly. Precisely. She literally has been gifted a crown that is symbolic of being a winter queen who thinks that she won. The botanical symbolism. And it's not even that it's just written in to be all flowery and stuff, and then the rose-like blush of the wind. No, it's the townsfolk literally made her a crown out of particular plants that hold a particular symbolic message. You know? And at that point, it's if it's got fertility and fidelity and stuff, you've also got the juxtaposition between the king who has known infidelities, obviously. One of his kids from not his wife is leading his army right now. His mistress was just murdered. It's obvious. So she's there being depicted as the faithful, regal, victorious choice, shall we say. But also yeah. Eleanor by herself might not have been so bad, but on top of which, the whole thing, the crown was made by the miller's wife, who had been thoroughly beat up by, I believe it was Wilbercote's men, who Eleanor was, singing the praises of for however long. So, yeah, real subtle, oh yeah, you're so great. Yeah, here, wear this. You're fabulous. We're totally not waiting for Henry to show up and get rid of all of you people. Not at all. No. Very subtle. Fuck you. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, no. Discussing books with you guys is fabulous. Okay, one sec. I seem to have completely tangled my toes in with the cable for the computer. Alright, there we go. Exactly. It's like not an overt like ha but yeah. Yeah, the real subtle ones. The ones that like you're fine and the other person might not even be aware that it's a thing. You know? Just like yes. I have taken my vengeance. They don't need to know about it. It's fine. Like I'll just sit here and enjoy. Like, book discussions are the funnest. Right? Right? Are. They're tiny little worlds that you can open and venture into, and everyone sees a slightly different perspective in it, and it's great. There we go. Alright. Yeah. uh. uh. Yeah. Alright. Okay, I was gonna say, let's take a second to appreciate that, like, I realize that, Bertha had indicated, like, right off the bat that one of the main indicators of who gave her the mushrooms and thus was the assassin was like nice smelling, you know. But Adelia pieced it together from Jacques having like an interesting soap smell and not, not being able to curb his desire to dress up and play act as like an old lady in a reenactment of Noah's Ark. Like just like seriously. Serious. Alright. Yeah. Also, just the most of the characters are fairly straightforward in who they are, who they are, who they are, and their motives and stuff. Even like Wolvercoat and I forget his name, but Talbot's cousin, like, as obnoxious and abhorrent as they are, the intent is fairly straightforward, and they were kind of real suspicious right from the start, at least from what we know going into their introductions. But then you have characters like Jacques and the abbot, who Jacques totally makes sense. Like, dude's got however many different, like, faces and names to go with him. What's he call himself? I forget. Sicarius. There we go. So we've got Sicarius, aka Jacques, who is a very accomplished actor, or shall we say? Who, I mean, it must be said, he takes a lot of pride in his work, such as it is. But yeah, haha. Um, but then you've got the abbot, who equally has, multiple phases, and all of them are equally obnoxious, and it it's kind of noted in there where there are certain characters who chose a particular life path because they wanted to escape from something, or they were running from something, or they wanted to do something, or whatever. Like, some of the nuns didn't want to get married off, so convent. Or didn't want to get married off again. Or we've got Adelia, who didn't want to give up who she is and what she does to be a wife, so turn really down. Because she would have been expected to not do doctor things anymore. I don't know what's happening out there, but something. And then you have people like the Abbot of Ensham that seem to both take advantage of their position, but are also highly resentful of it. But also, like, want worldly things and condemn anyone who isn't, like, perfect in the eyes of the church. Like, dude, you right here, you are kind of the poster child of hypocrisy. So, how about maybe you don't be judging everyone else right now, but like, okay. And then we've got Sicarius, who's just like, I mean, they're paying me, so, you know. But why are you still sticking around? I mean, I haven't been paid yet, have I? I need my cash, genius. Obviously. So at least, like, there's one of the things that I've noticed in certain stories is like the assassin, the robber is usually depicted just like as a general, as like the evil person, but like they're just doing a job most of the time. It's just like they're there. Yeah. I mean, someone hired me, so I'm like, I'm just here working. Like, what? What? I don't care if this person dies. Like, I mean, this lady over here, like, I mean, whatever. I mean, Bertha, she kind of had to die because well, she kind of figured me out, so you know, had to end that. But you know, it's not like I'm gonna do it for free. The abbot's still gonna pay me because you know, otherwise I'm gonna kill him. So, eh. I'm just waiting around for some cash. So, like, yeah. At least it makes sense. You know? It's a very kind of expected relationship at that point, you know? Like, you know what you're getting because it kind of, you know, one of those, it does what it says on the tin situations. As opposed to, like, and with the abbot, right? With Sicarius, at least he's like covert about it until he's presented with like, nah, I know it's you, obviously. This is why. Then it's just like all bets are off. Oh, yeah, well, whatever. We'll have a chat. We'll have a chat about why I'm such a great assassin because, like, I mean, you're cool. It's fine. I don't want to kill you. It's great. But with the abbot, like, he's not even trying to hide it. It's just like interrogation. And then Eleanor says something, and oh yes, my lady, huh? You're so great, huh? Like what? What? All right. Have a good night, honeycomb. Have a good sleep. Have a good sleep. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be on, admittedly, but we'll see. Anyway, see you later. All right. Also, it's in this section that we're seeing discussions of uh, marriage and like what's the word? Not viability, but like I guess it would be viability, but the viability, efficacy, however you want to say it, of young women, especially of noble families, being married off against their will. And, like, in history, especially, you see a lot of instances where it's, there was a political marriage, or it was an arranged marriage, or whatever phrasing you want to use. But because the relationship between Emma and Talbot was one of the two main murder plots in the book, we see that as a central thing in this. And the lack of agency that that young women had, or women in general had, really. Because with very few exceptions, any of the female characters, including Eleanor, really, but there were a few, like, concessions on that one, but basically, including Eleanor, were just seen as set dressing for what the menfolk were doing. Case in point, every time that Adelia is trying to practice medicine or investigate something and has to drag along Mansour to have the attempted facade of her being the assistant, because if she was the one actually practicing openly, then she'd be accused of witchcraft, which she was at one point. And we've got, like, once it becomes apparent that Talbot is dead, Wolvercoat comes in and kidnaps Emma, has a priest say a few words, and then they're married. Regardless of what Emma wants, what, like, the Queen decreed, anything. And her parents don't say anything. The men, when Eleanor's ranting about the injustice of it all, the men gathered around are basically just saying, "Oh yeah, well, that's the thing that happens, yeah." Like it's not a big deal, with full knowledge that if someone is forced into a marriage, especially in a situation like that, and you have to consummate the marriage in order for it to be official that very soon after, this 16-year-old girl, who'd been desperate to get away from the lot of them, to avoid Wolvercoat and all of that, has been raped. Probably repeatedly. Knowing the dubious nature of his character that we see. And the only recourse that she's got at that point is at the end of the book, Wolvercoat is seen as a traitor and is hanged, and because Adelia has bargained with Henry, because he still refuses to freaking pay her for doing her job, that she's basically been conscripted into, that she won't be forced to marry again as part of the, like, well, you're not going to pay me anyway, so, like, at least do this. But the person that she loved is dead. She's been, like, assaulted probably numerous times at this point, all in the span of, like, what was it, Rolly? There was a day Rolly had left 10 days prior, so 11 days. They'd gone, like, they were at the tower for a couple hours. It took a few hours to get there, so, like, let's say 12 days. And then it was like 2 or 3 days. So if within the span of a fortnight, pie, yeah. Pie sounds good, eel. So within the span of a fortnight, Emma has gone from being really excited and hopeful for the future, where she's going to run off to Wales with Talbot and have a bunch of kids and be happy, to thinking that her person abandoned her, to finding out that he was killed, tries to go through a mourning period with everyone telling her that she has to do her duty and whatever else, and that they're going to send in guards if she doesn't, is forcibly married to Wolvercoat, is assaulted multiple times and is widowed. And she's like 16 or 17 years old. And the only recourse that she's got in that whole situation is that Adelia made Henry promise that she would not be forced to remarry as some kind of political pawn. So she wouldn't have to go through that again. Unless she chose someone to marry. Like, I know that's a thing. That's, like, historically, that's a thing. But there's a difference between saying it as a historical document and saying it as someone's life and tragedy and trauma laid out like that. And just like, oh, come on. Like, her just only being able to ask for that is not enough. Exactly. Like, what? And that wasn't even Emma asking for anything. That was, like, Adelia was being asked to go through all the events that had happened when, like, the king was questioning her about stuff. And she's like, right, okay, well, you're not gonna let me leave. You're not gonna let me go home to Sicily. Okay, right. And I know you. You're not gonna pay me either. So, right. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. You want information? Alright, I'll give you some information. As part of my fee that you're not gonna pay me. So, like, think of this as my payment. You're not gonna force this freaking 16-year-old girl who's been through hell and back in the last 2 weeks to marry somebody else. How about that? Like, seriously. Like, and I know that she's trying to find whatever silver lining there is because women at the time weren't seen as any kind of intelligent beings or anything. But I forget what chapter it is, but there's a point that Glytha is talking to Adelia. So Glytha being like an older lady, essentially like caring for Adelia's daughter while they're doing stuff, and general friend person. And she says something about, well, I mean, Wolvercoat's like a really bad dude, but like at least she might get some babies out of it. Like that's not so bad. She wanted kids, right? Yeah, that like at least there's that. Like she would have kids, and like the dude's kind of old, so like he's probably gonna get killed anyway or like die. So she won't have to put up with him that long. Like. I know you're trying to silver lining this, but like, no. Oh, wow. Relationship goals in the 1700s. Yeah, this right here, and like, especially for the time period, like, it makes sense, but also, geez. Like, this would have been, like, 1150s. 1156-ish, around there. Because it's after, it's, like, I forget how close, but it would have been within 10 years of the Stephen and Matilda Wars concluding. With Henry II as current regent, or current king. But yeah, like, when the best you can hope for a relationship is, well, I hope you die soon. Like, what? Actually, what? Really? Really? Come on. And it's said a couple of times in there, and it's something that is noted in maybe not historical documents, but interpretations or analyses of historical documents. But by and large, like, because there was no real, like, there was no financial gain, there was no money to exchange hands or anything, no inheritance aside from, like, you know, a couple of bags of seed or whatever, maybe a cow, if that. Lower classes weren't really subjected to that as much. So you hear a lot of, like, I wish I was lowborn or whatever. And that's one of the things. Because if you don't have money that other people are trying to obtain, then all you have to offer in a marriage situation like that, money, lands, whatever, is yourself. And if the other person is only after whatever financial gains there would be, they're gonna leave you alone, presumably. At least for that. There was a lot of assault that happened. There's still a lot of assault that happens, but with, like, roving bands of mercenaries or whatever, there was a lot of assault that happened. And again, no recourse, really. Unless the person just ended up in a ditch somewhere. So, yeah. I don't know. But, no, it's... And, what was the last line? It, like, there's kind of a running thing in here where a lot of times there's, backstabbing and whatever else, and people not putting their partners first and foremost and whatnot and things. But we've got Adelia, who's been dealing with all kinds of shit from everybody. Being accused of witchcraft when she's trying to investigate a murder by the person who ordered the murder, incidentally. Like, seriously, Wolvercoat is such an ass. And constantly being insulted because she has a kid out of wedlock, but the only way that she would have been married would have to, she would have had to give up being a doctor and what amounts to a forensic pathologist at the time. Was essentially conscripted into being an investigator for the king and not paid, not acknowledged, because she's a woman, so therefore. And she's on a barge with the king, and he's like across the river from where her daughter and her friends are. It's like, right, okay, so I'll just, like, you can do whatever you're gonna do. I'm sitting here, alright. And then he's just, oh yes, we're going to Oxford now. Hey, wait up, hey. Excuse you. I need to get off the boat now, thanks. Like, oh well, fine, we'll go to the other side of the river. Like, sir. You have shown your hand multiple times that you are quite definitely that guy. You know? Can you stop? Thanks. So, like, it finally gets to the other side where, like, is probably stuck in a mud mire on the side of the river, which apparently Henry thinks was completely hilarious. And as he's going down the river, what was it? The last few lines, right? The rapidly increasing distance between them, so Henry II, right there. The rapidly increasing distance between them was forcing him to shout, "Adelia, you're my investigator into the dead, like it or not." All she could see now was the Plantagenet three-leopard pennant fluttering as the barge rounded a wooded bend, but the king's voice carried cheerfully over its trees. "You're never going to be safe." Like, on the one hand, right, if you're an investigator, you're constantly kind of imperiled because you have to put yourself in potentially hostile situations. But also, she left the boat to go find her daughter. And getting to the safe shore to go find her kid, she's being shouted at, "You'll never be safe." So, like, and I know there's 2 other books in the series. There's one preceding it that I haven't read, that I don't think I'm going to read. because it's got, someone killing a bunch of kids, so not really my vibe on that one. And from how the first couple of chapters go with like flashbacks to that, there's a lot of like trauma associated with that. So like I think I'm gonna leave that one there. But I'd be interested to see what the rest of the series has. But yeah, it's like, okay, right, right. Interesting. Very interesting. But yeah, it was a good read though. There was a couple of interesting interesting twists and turns and whatnot. And the whole like early medieval murder mystery element to it, which is very cool. I appreciate that. So yeah. Yeah, so that's it for the Serpent's Tail on that one. There. The next one that we've got, so for next week, what we've got is going to be The Girl in the Witch's Garden. Where is it? Oh, there we go. Which, just like, let's just appreciate the Studio Ghibli feel of it all right there, So we're gonna do chapters 1 to 9 for next week. It's a kid's fantasy or a children's fantasy, however you want to phrase it. There's 29 chapters, so it's probably gonna be a 3-week read on that one. And yeah, we'll see about that. But yeah, if you want to participate in the book club reading discussion times, that's the one that we've picked. And from the sounds of it, it is likely available as an audiobook as well. Yeah, no, it is available as an audiobook as well, because that's what Honeycomb's gonna do. So anyway, there is that. Yeah. Also, there's parallels between Wolvercoat and Emma and what the abbot was attempting with Adelia too. So yeah. So that's it. We might come back to this at a later date. I don't know if I'm gonna do individual videos for the book club ones. There's a number of them at this point, so there's that. But yeah, wish I would have gotten my library card towards the beginning of this book. It is a cool one. And I don't know what this is quite the tale of Avarice. Yeah, no, totally. If you want to read the first one, Eel, if you want to read the first one, it's, where is it? It's the Mistress of Death. That's the first one in the series. But there's enough recount of there's enough recount of what's going on that you don't need to. And it looks like the third one in the series is Grave Goods. So we'll see on that one. I don't know, compared to this, how the other three really, would have anything to do with like botanical themes and whatnot. But being that she's a early medieval doctor, there's probably quite a few mentions and stuff. It's just in this, one of the murder weapons was mushrooms. So we'll see. Might end up doing a read with one of those at some point for the book club. Might not. I don't know. Again, we shall see. But yeah, I am glad that you managed to get a book card. Wow. Library card. Words. There we go. Alright. So yeah, there's that. But yeah. All kinds of good stuff. But yeah, if you want, because I don't remember if there's a list of them somewhere. Be looking into the new challenge books. Okay, yay. But yeah, no, if you want, I'm gonna put. Don't know where to put it though. If we pin a list somewhere, but to going to library Wednesday. Ooh, nice. But to pin a list of past book club books in the Discord, I think. Probably under the book club page. So yeah, that should be a fairly easy thing to set up to make sure that it's, there and accessible to whoever. But yeah, good times. But yay for ow. A hangnail has just decided to stab you. Right. But yay for library cards and books and things and stuff. Awesome sauce. Awesome sauce indeed. Yeah. So very good. Nice. Anyone have final thoughts, questions? Like, I know you didn't have a chance to read it while we were going through it, Eel, but if anything popped up in the discussion that you want to have a discuss about, or really if you read something that we've read before as a book club thing and it sparks something, we can always have a discussion about that at a later point too. That is a thing. There we go. So, yeah. I think that's it for now. Yeah. Alright. So. Slight shift of perspective here. Well, I move the computer machine. Alright. Now, is there... Come on. Is there anyone around that we want to do a raid for? Or nah? Because I don't know. Yeah, no, it was fun having a discussion tonight. It really was. What are we doing? Alright, yeah, I think I'm gonna just call it a night. So, need to get back to OBS there. Yeah. So that was a good discussion time. That was a fun round of things. Yeah. So, be looking out for new stuff in the Discord and the YouTube and the whatever else. Yeah. I will see you all Thursday around the same time, if not before, on whatever platform. Need to get back on actually posting things on Instagram because that has kind of fallen by the wayside for the last couple weeks. But yeah, it was a good time. Have a fabulous rest of your evening. And yeah, remember, we've got the new book that we're doing. Thursday is going to be probably more art stuff. I'm getting better at the art discussion time mashup situation, so we'll see with that. But yeah, have a good one. I'll see you later. And yeah, bye everybody.